G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the north side of the map in the colour blue, playing as the Ottomans. We've got Suleiman the Magnificent. Quite a long name you've got there. Maybe I can help you out with a little bit of a long boat. You get it? It's a boat in the middle of his TC and it's long because we made it nice and fat. And on the other side of the map, coming in as the English in the colour purple, playing in that trusty southern spot. We got Beastie Cutie, aka Server Crash Expert. Also running the classic little town icon. Well, not town icon. What's it called? It's called a monument. There we go. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We see Beastie once again opening up with this English farm opening that we casted in one game, and I genuinely do think this will change the way that English is played forever. So I read through the comments on that, and there were a couple of people that said, well, Drongo, actually, Beastie wasn't the first person to come up with it. Someone said that Mister actually did it at Wallalol. I must have missed that game. I mustn't have been casting it, or if I was, maybe I've gone into a very deep sleep, a very deep slumber, and I've just forgotten about that one. But I genuinely think this just makes so much sense, right? Like, you start off the game, what do you do as English? You've got 200 wood. You can make a barracks, you can make a house, or you can make a house, a mining camp, and now you've got 100 wood left over. And so the obvious answer is you just throw down those farms, get it started immediately. Just makes so much sense. Let's check in over on the other side of the map, though, and see how Suleiman the Magnificent is doing. Now, I don't know who this player is, but I do know that they're very good. I think at the moment, sitting on about a 90% win rate inside the top 20. Very, very talented players. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to throw out, because this is a tough matchup, right? I like this matchup a lot as the English, because often when I'm playing this matchup, I feel like I can get away with 3 TCs easily in this matchup. There's not a lot that the Ottomans can do to punish you. If they try and go for a ram attack, you're going to beat it. If they try and go for like a mangonel timing in Castle Age, you're going to beat it, as long as you go for the White Tower. Their timings just seem really good. It kind of reminds me of the Holy Roman Empire versus the Chinese matchup, where the Holy Roman Empire have just got these amazing timings. But as we do cross over that 2-minute mark in the game, I will remind you guys, if you are enjoying the Age of Empires 4 content and would like to see it keep coming, then please leave a like on the video. It really does help out the channel. But the landmarks are now coming through, with Beastie on the south side, going to be going for the Council Hall. Not going to be doing any Abbey of the King shenanigans here. And we do see him on the straggler tree now, going to be able to afford to drop down that lumber camp. He's already got such great value out of these farms. I wish there'd be a stat. I'd love a stat that showed like lifetime food that you pulled out of a farm, because I guarantee you, even at this point right here, like let's think, okay, if it's 40 food every minute, he's already pulled out like 100, maybe even, yeah, close to 100 food, maybe 120 food out of these English farms already. That's pretty much a free sheep that he's just gotten, and that's going to continue. It's the gift that keeps on giving throughout this game. So really, really nice addition to the English playstyle, and definitely something I'm going to be looking to pick up. But let's check in over on that north side of the map. I was just going to say, it's important to note, though, that by doing this, though, you will delay other aspects of your build. Obviously, your lumber camp, instead of being able just to put it down on the wood line, you now have to chop wood. If you want to go for stone early on, you're not going to be able to throw down that 50 wood for the mining camp. You're going to have to chop that as well. So it does delay you in other aspects. So I think that as long as you just want to play like that one base style initially and not go into a very fast 2 TC or very fast 3 TC, then it makes sense. But even here, we could see Beastie does go in for that second TC, but I suspect he's going to be looking to make a couple of units early on, just to try and help himself out with this. It makes sense with going for these early farms. But on the other side of the map, we'll run on board with Suleiman for a little bit here, as we've got ourselves a twin minaret madrasa, which is about to come up together with a military school. And look at the timing on this military school. Impeccable timing right now as it comes up, looking to meet at that 4-minute mark. Expect to see, we're going to see some Sipahi here, I would suspect. Let's look to see if he changes it over or whether he keeps it on Spearman. You'd want to hope that a man like this does switch it to Sipahi, and indeed, he does change it over to Sipahi. We also see the stable goes down, and Beastie's going to come in here, and he does spot the military school, but doesn't actually see the stable. Actually, no, I take it back. I think he did see the stable. So he's not going to need to come back in. Of course, we're observing here, and we don't always get to see the full picture, even when we zoom. Look at that. Look at those shadows. Oh my lord, look at those textures, baby. Who needs to know key information about the information that potential players have got when we've got those beautiful zoomed in textures? On the other side of the map, though, Beastie now throwing down that barracks in response to the stable, as you would expect. And at the same time, looking to take that second TC, starting to stack up the stone. Sitting on 120 stone already, so expect to see that second TC. A key factor here is going to be where he puts down that second TC. If we do see him put it down here on the stone, which is an amazing spot here, covers the stone, covers the wood, covers this direction from any kind of aggression, that's an amazing spot, then it means he's probably going to be looking for that third TC. As I mentioned before, you can get away with a third TC in this matchup if you so choose to do it. There's always that little caveat, right? If you choose to do it, because just because you can get away with it doesn't mean that you always should try it. But we do now see that spearman out for Beastie. Scout going to be getting a good eye on it and says, all right, well, we're not going to go that way, are we, Mr. Sipahi? No, we are not, my friend. We're going to come in and look to hit that stone mine. But fortunately, it looks like Beastie is about to clear it out. Unfortunately, it is going to be delayed, though. The Sipahi getting some pretty decent damage. It looks like, for the most part... Did those sheep... I swear those sheep just ran in from right here. Had no one really, 6 minutes into this game, checked that little pocket right there? That is absolutely wild to me. Scout goes down. Beastie with the big shot from the edge there. And let's see where he puts it. So I would suspect he goes second TC here and then third TC on the hunt. Alternatively, he could just put the second TC on the hunt and call it a day, which is something that you do often see, especially when you're under pressure like this. Let's see where he goes with it, though. The other option for him is on the gold, but I think he's got the spearman numbers where he can justify throwing it out over on the deer hunt. And that's exactly where he's going to be taking it. So just going with the 2 TC opening here. So... We'll suspect that he probably goes into the 3 TC through the King's Palace, which makes the most sense. But we do now see that second military school is up. It's on Spearman for the moment. In the middle of the map, the meta's going to come out, so we can suspect that that's the first Vizier point, because both the military schools here are not on units that are metas. So Suleiman continues to put on the aggression, continues to put on the hurt, the pain early on. But this is part of the reason why the English in this matchup are so damn good. Think about this. The Ottomans has invested 200 stone, 300 wood into their military schools. It's going to take time for these units to come through. Yeah, sure, they're free, but it takes time for them to come in. You don't get that instant hit. And because of that, the English player on the second TC actually has the time to build up a reasonable defense. I would argue that if you didn't go military schools and you just played no military school and just went military, it'd be a lot easier to actually kill this second TC. But it depends what kind of response Suleiman's going to be looking to go for. At the moment, it definitely looks like it's going to be that feudal age themed attack. But I would suspect the best play at this point is probably to head into castle oneself, look to try and pick up relics, maybe time it with a mango, see exactly what you can do on that front. But never mind, there we go. I just saw the villagers on gold. I'm like, hold on, 10 villagers on gold? Okay, he's definitely going castle age. But very interesting that he's put down this much production, though. This much production kind of looks like a feudal age, but at the same time, it kind of looks like I'm not really there. We're going to see Beastie come around onto the backside here. Suleiman going to be aware that Beastie is spotting this out, so he will see the villagers on the gold. That should give him the indicator straight away. Okay, he's going castle. Let's see what the reaction is from Beastie. I suspect it might be another villager or two out towards gold. It looks like he's just going to rally both TCs to gold, so he's going to be heading up to castle as well, probably looking for that King's Palace. So just a very solid game from these guys so far. I love the way that they are able to react so effectively towards each other. It's great to see it's almost like chess. I often, say it's similar to chess or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu if you've ever practiced. It's very, very methodical in response and whatnot. But we're right on board with Suleiman as the upgrades start to come through. He's looking to pick up an early wheelbarrow here. Makes a lot of sense considering his location on the map. There's always the threat of longbows, but he's got pretty decent control at the moment. Not that England, or the English rather, cares too much about that. As long as the TC's on the hunt, it's going to be pretty hard to break through this. I mean, you can try and come through on an angle, but he's got good coverage out here. And you can see the longbow sit nicely in that pocket. So Suleiman just kind of holds his own for the moment. And we move on towards that mid-game. 9 minutes through, and horticulture's come in for Beastie. Keep in mind, a really strong tech for the English stacks up with that mill influence. So that's 20% plus the 15%. So he's sitting at 35% over what his opponent would be doing. And now we see that next landmark is going to get thrown down. It's the MIA. No real surprises here for the Ottomans. I can't remember the last time I saw the Istanbul Observatory. No, it's not the observatory. It's the Istanbul Imperial Academy. No, Imperial Council. I can't remember the name of the landmark, but it's the other age 3 landmark, and well, it's not used very often. Let's just put it that way. How could you possibly make that better? Maybe if you gave it like unique vizier points as well. Like maybe there's 9 unique vizier points for the Ottomans. Well, obviously they're unique, but 9 Vizier points for the Ottomans, and then you do that, and then not only do you get like an extra, say like 3 Vizier points that you can use, but it also unlocks like 6 new techs that you could have. That would actually be sick, because then you could throw it up and be like, okay, do I want to have my crossbows with +3 range, or do I want to go for like a really good mangonel push? Oh, then it gets really tough though, because then you got to choose, and who's going to take, you know, are you going to take the crossbow with +3 range, or are you going to take the free mangonels? But then there's a part of me that's like, well, take a look at, say, like the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate get a very similar landmark to that, where you get those free upgrades that are all unique, right? Like your +3 damage to men-at-arms and lances. And yeah, we don't see people go for that landmark, so just because they're unique and just because they're cool doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be picked. So I guess that's something to consider, and definitely a nice way that you could look to buff that landmark. So hopefully the devs are listening. I don't know, what do you think? How would you change the other Ottoman landmark? I think that's probably the best way to go forward with it, but I'm just a scrub. King's Palace coming up for Beastie, so he's going to be looking to really pull ahead on the economy here. Up to 3 TCs. Starts to wall off the backside. Knows that he's somewhat exposed down here. Wants to try and secure up the gold, most certainly. Probably the wood line as well, just to guarantee the integrity of his backside. Definitely makes a lot of sense here. So now BC, this is where it starts to get difficult for him, because he's going to have to play perfectly from here if he wants to survive. I say perfectly, but, well, yeah, I mean perfectly. So he's gone 2 TCs into Castle Age rather than going 3 TCs into Castle Age. And what that means is that he doesn't have the White Tower. And some people look at the White Tower and go, that's a meme, and some people look at the White Tower and go, that's a dream. For me, I'm definitely from the later camp. I absolutely love the White Tower, and the reason why I love it is because it gives you such flexibility in your responses. So think about it from this perspective. You're playing as the Ottomans, and you go for a mangonel, even though this says a battering ram. You go for a mangonel. As that mangonel's rolling out across the map, the White Tower gives you the option to throw down a Springald in half the time that a normal Siege Workshop would. And on top of that, you don't have to pay for the Siege Workshop. On top of that, you don't have to wait for the Siege Workshop to come up. So you're saving so much time, and it can allow you to leave those responses right until the very end. And it means that you can just have a very effective response. And really, I think for players, especially like Beastie, I'm surprised that we don't see him take it as much as what I think warrants it. Is because both him and Viper have a similar playstyle in that they play as greedy as they can get away with, and I think that's the key. But here we obviously still see him going greedy 3 TCs, just the main difference could be the White Tower. So it looks like he's going to start adding in crossbows, going for the classic Spearman crossbow combo. Of course, we love to complement the Spearman crossbow combo with a mango or 2. Delicious this time of year. Well, actually not really this time of year. It's July. Mangoes are not ripe, at least not ripe for this part of the world. Maybe, I don't know, what is the world's largest mango producing nation? If I had to guess, I would probably say something like Myanmar. I don't know why. No, Thailand. Actually, the Philippines. Nah, that's more like, you're talking like lemons and stuff there. I don't know. Maybe it's Australia. It can't be Australia. Surely not. But we'll worry about the mangoes later, because undoubtedly they will be rolling out off the blocks shortly. And there they are. The mangoes are out. And the Sacred Victory is approaching, as we expected. Relics are being taken. He's picked up 3. He's got all 3 sacred sites. And he's just holding everything, holding BC to account right now. He's saying, look, you can go 3 TCs. I really don't mind, because I'm going to just take all the relics. You can see he's now picked up that 4th relic here as well. Suleiman having an absolute field day. Sacred site. He's only got 1 unit in the vicinity, and it's a monk carrying a relic, so probably not the best unit to contest a sacred site over there. I don't actually think this is an attempt to win through Sacred Victory, so... Oh, he's going to bring it back. Okay, I respect that. I respect that. It's a little bit of a delay on getting that relic back, but it guarantees that you don't lose the sacred site. So I think that's quite nice. But Beastie over on the other side of the map, though, he's just like, this is classic English, right? Like, I'm not leaving my base. I don't care what they say. I'm in love with you. Oh, wait, that's the lyrics, right? I don't care what they say. I'm in love with you. I think that's it. Keep bleeding, keep bleeding, love. That's a good song. That is a banger. That is a certified banger, a knee slapper, if you will. This has been a good cast, hasn't it? I mean, it's been a pretty passive opening, but I've been enjoying just shooting shit with you guys. So I hope you guys have been enjoying it as well. Sometimes when you have a little bit more of a passive early game like this, you do get these casts that are a little bit slower. So I hope that's been okay for you. Walls coming up over on the west side of the base for Beastie. Looks to try and take this sacred site in the north. Not going to be able to find it. Mangonel over the top of the forest. just exactly where you don't want it. That is, for places to put mangoes, that is one of the worst spots on top of a forest. You want this guy down at ground level, easier to harvest that way. But the numbers for Beastie starting to be a little bit worrisome. He's down 20 military population at the moment. Keep in mind he's got that 5 siege population that he's going to have to deal with as well. Have we got those battering rams out yet? We did see, yeah, there's the first of the battering rams are out. Second one is also on the way through here as well. So he's really looking to throw down a siege right now, Suleiman. And Beastie on the defense. He's got those 3 TCs pumping, so he needs to survive. This is key. He needs to make sure that these town centers do not fall to maintain that economic lead, rather. Economic league? Sounds a little bit too, New World Order for me. I don't subscribe to that conspiracy theory. I'm more of a UFO guy. I'm sure you guys know. I'm all about the UFOs, all about the aliens. That's what I've been, you know, disclosure, hashtag disclosure. Anybody? All right. Anyone. Anyway, Springalds are out. Beastie has gone for the siege workshop. It's going to be a slow and steady stream of Springalds, though, but that's all he needs. He just needs the one. The one Springald going to be more than enough to push back the battering ram. He can hold onto it and hide it if he wants to, so that the mango maybe gets exposed, but looks like he's not going to do that. We'll just look to take out the battering ram instead, and Beastie not really having too much trouble at this point, right? Like, you look at the defense that's come through, and it's like, he's barely battering an eyelid. Batting an eyelid? I think he's batting an eyelid, or, sorry, he's not batting an eyelid in this case. But it looks like over on that east side, I didn't see what the unit was. Unfortunately, we were unable to see their body, but, I can't, how do I get around this? See, this is tough. This is where we need that zoom, because the zoom allows us to get around that sign. And you might be saying, well, Drongo, what's wrong with your game? Why is it that your game has this giant sacred site banner and not the brand new one? Well, thanks for asking. The reason why is because for some reason they just said caster mode, which is the mode that we use to cast. They don't get it. They don't deserve it. The new update, we can't afford to put it in custom. I don't know what their reason was. They probably just forgot. They were like, no one uses that mode anyway. Well, we're not hosting any tournaments, are we, John? No? All right, cool. We're fine. So they just put it in like the normal mode. And obviously the mode that you play as well, so you get that nice little minimized sacred site. And we've had ourselves a slow build-up here. 17 minutes in, no real fight, no direct action at this point in time, but a second TC does come up back for Suleiman. He's on 57 villages compared to the 101 of Beastie, so he's got quite a ways to make up for this. And now we see a little bit of a counter-attack, a little bit of a push down towards this south side. Going to be going through that wall quickly. Might need to throw down another wall just to make sure that they don't get through. Beastie even taking the berries on the back. You don't often see the English do that. Definitely going to be looking to take advantage of every little bit of resource he can get. Now Beastie looking to push out. Well, right on board with Suleiman. He sees the Springald pushing forward and Beastie having a little bit of trouble getting it off right there. You can see him just creeping. Gonna have to turn around. The trick is you got to bring it forward. They do have a slightly faster movement speed, 0.88 versus the 0.75. So if you bring them forward enough, you can get those shots off. But speaking of getting those shots off, careful, ladies and gentlemen, because it is time. No mango here for Beastie as well. It's definitely going to hurt him on this front. He doesn't even have it in queue. He's got the 10-minute arms out, though. Let's double check. 17 crossbows should be more than enough to deal with this. But often, one of the things I say whenever I'm doing my coaching and I'm telling people, all right, you're playing English spear crossbow. That's your go-to. You want to mix in just one mango, just a single mango. Because you look out here right now, you look at what Suleiman's got. He's got absolutely nothing to deal with the mangonel. I say that. He's got 4 Springalds. So, somehow he's got 4 Springalds. I've got no idea where they are. There's 1. There's 2. How many Springalds does this guy need? He's got 4 Springalds. Where do you get 4 Springalds from? Were you just holding him in your back pocket? I was looking out here. I'm like, he's got nothing to deal with it. Except for the 4 Springalds. So, Suleiman's definitely thinking ahead, doing the right thing. Beastie now with the mango in queue. Definitely the right call here to go for that mango. But it feels like Suleiman a little bit ahead of the game. And this is part of the reason why I think the white tower is so strong in this position, because it allows you to be reactive and flexible. Had you put the white tower down here and your second or your third TC, like your second TC was over here, the first TC was here. I don't know where the third, where was the other TC? I mean, maybe here, and it probably got killed. So, white tower's down here. Allows you to leverage that point. Allows you to really take advantage of the train speed. But we do now start to see that fight beginning to unfold towards that top side. All of the Springalds going to be looking to take out the back line. Beastie losing the first of the Springalds. Doesn't even get a shot off on the enemy side. Manages to do a little bit of damage there, but he's going to be losing his Springald before. Wait, what? I don't know how that Springald went down. Somehow Beastie manages to get the shot off a little bit early. Microing. Mango. Does damage to about 8 crossbowmen there. But you can see just how well the Knights are doing, and Beastie really starting to struggle now. The cavalry taking over this position. Spearman numbers have dwindled for Beastie. He's only got a single spear to his name right now. 1 more in the queue. looking to try and fall back towards his base. He's got nothing that he can really look to defend on. This could be a really tough spot. 7 minutes for Sacred Victory here. Beastie trying his best to defend. Cavalry runs in at full speed. More spears running through, trickling in. Mango shot on the back line does huge damage there. If he's able to get off one more shot, he's going to be able to seal the deal, but no! Just before the shot comes off, the Springald managed to take it out. He says, sit down, sir. Have a seat. And unfortunately, it was one of those collapsible seats, and Beastie's Mango was a little bit too heavy. It just went straight through, and it collapsed. And now Springald sniping out the villagers on the bottom side. They've got their a little bit of extra health, so he's not going to one-shot them. But more Springalds coming in. Look at the Springalds here. He's bringing them up for a little bit of a kiss. It's been a while since we've seen a Springald kiss, but even the villagers want some of the action. They say, come here, baby, give it to me. But, well, they're English, so it's probably more like, hello, baby, please give it to me. That's I felt like I was just speaking with a cold accent. You know, when you got the flu, when you got a cold, when you got a bit of a sore nose. That's what I was speaking with. But Mango getting off a lot of damage here. Springald should be able to meet it, and indeed it does. And Beastie somehow manages to hold. It looked terrible for the Beast right there. The cavalry numbers was a little bit crazy. But back towards the base of Suleiman, we can see him really looking to play the siege game. Springalds from the MIA, double siege workshop here. Currently sitting with 9 Springalds on the field. And this is one of the things I love about playing as the English with the White Tower. I know that BC doesn't have it, but it's just like, you can pump with the best of them, man. You can really take them out. But now expansion up towards that top side. Beastie looking to secure more gold. Struggled down on the south side. Had villages picked off. Had an additional gold mine towards the front. Manages to secure it now. But says, you know what? It's going to be easier just to take it out over on the west side. And that's where all these vills go. 18 of the world's best right now. Building up that keep. Sacred Victory is still approaching. Keep that in mind. 5 minutes to go until it does. And look at the Springald numbers. This amount of Springalds is enough for me to go, okay, I think I need to switch. Like, I can't keep making siege into this. I'm never going to be able to keep up with this. So maybe looking at going into horsemen here could be decent. Maybe going into knights could be good. But this is an amount of Springalds that can begin to one-shot knights. So you got to be really careful. And by the same token, I would expect that at this point, Suleiman should be looking to go into gens or look to go into spears himself. But we'll have to see exactly how that plays out, because Beastie, he's never been one to shy away from a siege battle. And once again, the spearman standing on that sacred site. Yet to secure up these sacred sites yet, Suleiman is. Perhaps just only wanting the gold and not really stressing that Sacred Victory approach. Spring's going to try and run their way out of there. Having a little bit of a tough time, a lack of units here on the front. And you can see the army value still in favor for Suleiman, but a lot of that is going to be in the siege. It looks like the spearman does get cleaned up. The cavalry does manage to take it out. Springalds, of course, taking out the backline there. And now the Springalds for Suleiman just going to be acting as snipers on this backline. Look at how quick they're able to take out these units. Keep in mind, they do a lot of damage. You know, I actually remember playing a game, and I sent a message to some of the big guys. I'm like, does anybody else think Springalds do like a little bit too much damage? Like, it's still 30 damage a piece. Remember when they did 60 damage and they were overpowered? Like, there's a part of me that still thinks 30 damage is kind of crazy for what they do, right? It's 30 damage with 70 versus siege, but 30 damage, like, don't get me wrong, they're an expensive unit, but it's still a lot, and they got huge range. Like, these are longbows on steroids. And Suleiman going up to 10 Springalds right now. Are we seeing it? Are we seeing the Springald spam actually coming back? This is it. I mean, somebody call Hera. Say, hey, Hera, I know that you missed the Springalds. When they got nerfed, you left. Here's an invitation for you. Welcome back. You can make Springalds as much as you like, and they're just going to be smacking kids. But we now finally see that first horseman coming in for Beastie. Switches into knights. Now, this should be the trigger in Suleiman's head at this point. This should be the trigger where he says, I'm going to start making spears or janissaries. It's got to be one of the two. And we also see that he's gone into a very interesting Vizier point. So on top of that, also picks up the Siege Works Vizier point, which is going to give him additional attack speed for his Springalds. So it gets a little bit of extra attack speed. Obviously, you can also stack this with the meta bonus. We don't see the meta out here at the moment. I think it did just get taken out, the meta drums. And we've got a little bit of keep-on-keep action. Suleiman manages to secure the keep over on the east side, but at the same time, Beastie's got one up. But you guys know the rules. If you hold the sacred site, you don't care about the other guy having a keep there. It's all about your own keep that matters. And Beastie in a real bit of trouble right now. A hot spot of bother. 22 military population against what is looking like 40 or 80 plus right now. And a lot of this is siege. And now towards the middle of the map, keep going to be coming up here on this central sacred site. Suleiman actually going to be going for it here. 3 keeps on 3 sacred sites he's holding. Knights now running out over towards the east side. He's got villagers inside if he wants to try and counter. And it looks doubtful that this keep will get up in the center of the map. Mangoes get their shots off. Archers dishing out the damage. And on the east side, the sacred site continues to be neutralized. Battering ram going to be coming out as well. Keep in mind, villagers are in here. He can pull them out if he wants to, and there he goes. Villagers now onto the sacred site. Going to hold that sacred timer up for the moment. More Springalds coming out here. Just looking to hold it down, and the keep is firing off at the other enemy keep, so the villagers aren't even dying. Meanwhile, the keep for Beast, or for Suleiman, is actually just killing all of the units here. So they're going to go down. The Springalds managed to come up very clean right there with a response. And Beastie in trouble. 2 minutes remaining on this sacred timer. Where does Beastie go from here? He's got a fair bit of units back here. 36 military at the moment. And now looking to re-challenge on the center. He's got these villages that he can pull. No textiles just yet. He's got to pay attention to this. He's not paying attention for the moment. Those villagers are making a bit of a run for it. He's not going for it. Suleiman, wake up! Suleiman, oh, he's under pressure on all 3 sacred sites. There's way too much attention going on. Sacred site in the middle might get neutralized. I think he's going to lose it here. Beastie going to be able to finally take that sacred site off Suleiman. There's nothing here to contest this. There were villagers. You can see that it's done a lot of damage, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough to stave off that attack. And Beastie going to be very happy with himself there. But there are problems right now for Beastie. More than 100 military pop for Suleiman versus Beastie on 18. Now, granted, Beastie's got a pretty good economy, but he's 40 villagers ahead of his opponent. That's a decent amount to be ahead, but he's still got a kicking economy. You're talking 98 vills, you're talking 4 relics, you're talking what used to be 3 sacred sites, so he's still got that gold in his pocket. You're talking all 4 military schools and the MIA. That's a lot. That is a lot of resources that are coming in right now. Double trap over on this west side. Looks like it will get picked off. I tell you what, for a game that starts slow, this game is starting to pick up the pace, that is for sure. The Sipahi going to be able to take out both of those traps. Keep manages to stay alive. And at this point, we could be looking for Imperial Ages. Suleiman's maxed out, 197 of 200. Beginning to push down on the enemy base. Not a lot of siege here. And now we see the Springalds coming out. This is what we were talking about. The Springald is actually back, baby. Oh my lord. It is happening. Look at the number he's got here. And he's making more. He's got 12 Springalds out. And he's like, I kind of feel like we need more. This unit is like a zombie. It comes back from the dead. I will literally find that message in the Discord server and I'll be like, told you guys. I told ya. I told you that it was good. I can't remember what game it was. I just remember I played a game against somebody and I was like, man, these Springalds are really hard to deal with. Like, as long as you've got a decent mass of units to defend them. And I mean, like right now, this is just asking for some knights and horsemen to come through. And he's got 17 horsemen. Do we have any spears out whatsoever? No spears, no janissaries. I mean, Suleiman's just asking for it at this point. I think it's going to happen. I mean, the Springs are going to try and snipe out the veteran horseman. The Ville's also going to get pulled. Mangonel could look to try and dish out some damage here. Let's see if he's going to be able to clear it. Mango probably needs to look to focus down these villages. It's pretty hard to split them. Let's see if he's going to be able to find it. Mango just going to go down instead. Inside it looks like a poor little archer. Comes in, gets a nice little split. Once again trying. Springald goes the other way. Ville's now going to turn around and say, that's enough. He's down to 9 Springalds, though. Definitely making a mistake with the lack of anti-cavalry, or anti-cavalry, counter-cavalry, the spearmen. Spearmen, also the janissaries. 2 key units to really counter a lot of what Beastie's throwing out right now. He's got the gold for it as well. If he wanted to go into janissaries, he definitely could afford it. And now we see a keep being thrown down. Suleiman going to be looking to try and take it out before it can get up. But unfortunately, there's way too many vills here. So the only thing going to be going down here is that battering ram. Beastie holds on once again, and somehow the tables are turned in favor of Beastie. I mean, he's still a little bit behind on that military count when you consider the siege. A little bit of forward farm action over here on the east side as the sacred sites do get captured once again. And we count down another 10 minutes. We say, give it to me, baby. It's too hard for me to hit that note. I can't do it. I was off key. That note is very difficult. I mean, I could probably do it, but I'd really have to sing it. Okay, hold on. Give it to me, baby. That's the best I can give it to you. Sorry, I had to do it. I had to. I can't not, you know, when I set myself a challenge, I got to live up to it. Mangoes, number 1 goes down. Number 2 not going to be able to survive either. Just throwing away Siege right now. Beastie going to be able to pick it up for a cheap price. Only a handful of spears is all he's going to need, and he manages to take them out. Now we start to see cavalry being mixed in by Suleiman, but I can't help but feel like he may be past his prime here. Beastie is starting to enter the zone. We're heading into that late game English. You know, we're probably going to be seeing Imperial Ages coming out shortly. He's 167 pop. He's got keeps up here. The sacred sites are ticking, but we're only 9 minutes on the sacred timer, so it's not really that big of a deal. I feel like as long as you've got spears, as long as you've got just a couple of men-at-arms, it should be more than enough to hold. Let's see how Beastie looks to play it, though. Springald numbers are still building, and he's under pressure from the Trebs, so maybe not a good idea to just go up right now. Knights now coming around this bottom side. He's picked up his +2 ranged armor, and more Knights onto the top side. Beastie trying to find a raid. 74 worker kills so far for Suleiman. He's been taking out villages all game, and now looks to take out some trebuchets as well. We'll check back in with Beastie as he looks for more raids. Up to 26 worker kills now. 140 villagers versus 106. It looks like all of the Trebs will survive. He's looking to start massing up those English Trebs. Getting some decent shots off. Big rocks coming through. And now the Knight, together with the spear, is going to be able to chase away all of these Springals. I tell you what, man, just 10, 15 Janissary here would have been amazing for Suleiman. I feel like it's a huge mistake not to go for Jans here. I remember when the Ottomans came out, there was this one guy who would post on every single video. It doesn't even matter if the Ottomans were in the game, and he would post like an actual essay about how the Ottoman civilization was an embarrassment to Turks everywhere, and that the Ottoman needed to be overhauled, it needed to be buffed. And I just like, I think about how he wrote like the Janissary was such a useless unit and like no one built it. And now I'm like, you know, that guy had a point. You know, we should have listened to that guy. We should have listened to be honest, the Janissary's no way. No way. Proxy Berkshire? Is that what we're seeing right now? He's going for the Proxy Berkshire. Oh, the sneaky little dog. Oh, no way. He's actually doing it. Look at the amount of vills he's got here. This takes out the gold vein, it takes out the stone, the second stone, and probably even hits this gold vein as well. This thing's got a range and a half on it. He's literally going proxy behind the enemy base with the Berkshire. This guy is not memeing, my friends. He is serious about his strategies. This is an incredible diversion, and it really takes away a lot of pressure from that front. At the same time, we see him throwing down the market, looking to exchange out a little bit of that gold. Probably going to be looking to pick up some wood here. Let's see what upgrades he goes for. Expect to see things like your farm upgrade. Let me pull it up. Enclosures. Look to start seeing your elite upgrades, and don't forget roller shutter triggers if he so pleases. And we do now start to see enclosures, elite upgrades. 1, 2, 3, 4 units getting the elite upgrades, and of course the Berkshire Palace exposes itself and says, "Hello, this is what I look like. This is me." And yes, well, here I am. So makes it very difficult now for Suleiman to ever really challenge this top spot. It is quite literally a proxy Berkshire. This is the highest peak of English meta. Can I get a zoom? I mean, if I could zoom, there you go. That's your wide boy. That's your wide boy zoom for the Berkshire. I love the wide boy. I feel like the wide boy is not wide enough. We should make it wider. You know what? Next game or next cast, that wide boy is going to be so wide. You know what? Every single game that I cast, I'm going to make it progressively wider until it just gets to the point where it's so wide, people are going to. I mean, people probably still wonder why I do it. And I do it just because we don't have zoom. We can't zoom. And I know some people miss it. Some people don't miss it. Me, I miss it greatly. I feel like it really adds to the ability to tell a story. Without that zoom, it hurts it inhibits my ability to make a story. Now, Beastie says, you want to go for a Seagate Castle? Let's have a race. And the Knights now come in. He's got elite Knights here. He's going to be looking to try and take down oh my lord, we have got a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Beastie looking to try and deny the age-up landmark here from Suleiman. At the same time, more attacks over on the east side. He is going full aggro with this right now. It looks like the keep, or the castle, is not going to come up. He's got 2 vills on it. Janissaries finally arrived. Janissaries, you're a little late to the party, but the keep will get up. More villagers now going to get pulled, but if this keep gets up, he's going to be able to deny a huge portion of this farmland together with the gold vein. Landmark gets up as well, and Beastie says, well, nice landmark. Would be a shame if there was a keep next to it. At the same time, Beastie throws down another keep on the east side. He is putting proxies everywhere right now. This kid is king of the proxy. He's not really a kid, I can tell you right now. He's quite an experienced gentleman. He's more of a man rather than a kid. This man is the proxy king. This is beautiful right now. We are witnessing a masterpiece, a proxy masterpiece. In the middle of the map, the mass of units continues to build for Suleiman the Magnificent. Springalds. No roller shutter triggers just yet. He's also looking to get the Great Bombard in placement as well. He's going to be doing that on the Seagate Castle. Keep in mind, this does have additional damage against buildings. So not only does he have these trebs, oh my lord, that's a lot of trebs to back you up, my friend, but you'll also have the Seagate Castle, which would be able to take this out if you didn't have the backup of 4 trebs as well. In placement, about to come through. Springalds, though. Springalds meeting their match. The villagers saying, hey, guys, I heard you were looking for fun. Well, turns out I brought fire and fun. And they both start with F. F is for fire. F is the sound that it makes. that's another one my boy's been listening to. Oh, if you're a dad, you'll probably know. I think that's a Miss Rachel. It's got to be a Miss Rachel. The letter of the day is F. All sacred sites taken once again, and Suleiman looks to position himself in the late game in a wonderful spot. But Beastie, you can just feel it right now. He is wrapping his legs around the victim like a snake wraps itself around its victim. But he's not a snake. That's Viper. So Beastie's more of a beast. So he's wrapping himself around. He's wrapping himself around mincemeat like a tortilla. I don't even know. Do you put mincemeat in a tortilla? I feel like you probably could, right? Like, I should stay in my lane. He's gonna wrap himself like apple around a crumble. Oh lord, I gotta keep my commentary, my food related commentary, exclusively to dessert. Speaking of dessert, look at this. This is starting to look a little bit delicious right now. Beastie going for these raids, and now we're just seeing the consequence of like the no wall challenge, right? Like Beastie said, you didn't want to make walls, that's fine. You don't have to. I went with walls, and that's gonna keep my base safe. You, on the other hand, you didn't go for walls, so I'm just going to take advantage of that. And now we start to see him attacking from all angles. Men-at-Arms coming through with their 10 ranged armor. Up against the Janissaries here, should be able to deal pretty decent damage against them. He's got the elite upgrade for the gens as well. So these guys are really going to be pumping overtime. Roller shutter triggers coming through for both players at the same time, and the Great Bombard emplacement is here. Watch out, ladies and gentlemen, from downtown. The Great Bombard emplacement takes out the Horseman. How much damage is that boy doing? 102. That's a fair amount. Fair chunk of change. Got some good AoE on it as well. Good luck ever getting through there. The Springald's one of the best counters to cavalry in the game. Going to be able to clean up this mess that Beastie did make. Berkshire still up. Unable to really put on the pressure. The cavalry keeps coming in. Meanwhile, over on the east side, Suleiman holding on for dear life. Sacred site still ticking, but keep in mind, there's no keeps on these sacred sites on the south anymore. One in the north has lost its as well. So he's really going to have to test his skill if he wants to hold these 3 sacred sites. Beastie once again attempting to neutralize that sacred site in the south. Plenty of vills out here. Battering rams coming through. This man is micromanaging like a madman. Multitasking like a magician. It is all happening right now. 20 villagers inside the Berkshire. Good luck to ever taking this bad boy down. He's going to be here all day. Keep in mind it's wood that you repair the Berkshire with, which is why it makes it such a powerful proxy. How's that for some alliteration for you? We got M's, we got P's, we got every little thing that you'd need. And once again, the Springalds looks like they do meet their maker. There was the Horseman all along. Vills get pulled. It's able to take it out. Sacred Site is lost. It's not in the middle. It's over on the west. Unable to secure them all. There is just chaos all over this map right now. And I do see on the UI, there is an indicator for a Great Bombard. He may have arrived, finally. We don't see any Great Bombard emplacement just yet. So expensive as well. 500 stone for that. There he is, the Great Bombard. It's been a while since we've seen him. But Suleiman is trying his best to hold on here, but you can just feel the Beastie is slowly but steadily rampaging over the top, and it's going to be a good game. Beastie victorious, we can tell because he's in purple and his opponent is in white. Fellas, make sure you go check out Beastie. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch him live over on Twitch. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, and of course, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.